Welcome back to Chris Dunn TV. In this episode, I'm showing you my 2 best strategies for trading altcoins. So over the past few weeks, I've gotten a ton of requests from you guys on some of my past videos asking for more videos on altcoins. It's probably because over the past month or two, we've had a ton of cryptocurrencies that have gone up by 500 to 1,000% or more, which is a great thing for the cryptocurrency economy. And if you know how to trade this stuff the right way, you can do really well doing it. So we're going to take a look at some examples. Like here you can see Stratcoin has gone up tremendously over the past few weeks. Also, in my last video talking about is Bitcoin in another bubble, we took a look at Dashcoin, and I mentioned that when a market goes up too quickly and too big of a percentage in a short period of time, most of the time it actually comes crashing back just as fast as it went up. So let's take a look at how you can actually find some good altcoins to trade. And if you don't know what an altcoin is, it's basically every other cryptocurrency next to Bitcoin. So if you go to coinmarketcap.com, which I showed you in my last video, my 5 best tools for trading Bitcoin. Bitcoin is number 1 in market cap, where they've been around, give or take a few billion, around $20 billion market cap. And then you've got Ethereum, Ripple, Dash, and then several others. And there are literally hundreds of altcoins that you can trade, but most of them you want to stay away from. 90% of these I won't touch with a 10-foot pole, but there are some that if you trade them the right way, you can make a lot of money. So let me just give you kind of one tip of how you can find good altcoins to trade. If you come under the trending tab here and you go to gainers and losers, what this will do is it'll show you the most volatile cryptocurrencies. And you can either look over the past hour, the past 24 hours, or the past 7 days. And so under the biggest gainers at the time of this video, you can see there are several that are up over 10 to 15%. And what I like to do is I look for coins that actually have significant volume. If a coin's up 500%, but it only has $10,000 worth of volume, I really don't care about it. I want to trade liquid cryptocurrencies, because if not, if you're trading with bigger size, you can get stuck in a position. So I kind of use as a rule of thumb about $500,000 in volume as kind of a starting point. So you can see Stratis over the past 24 hours has traded over 2.5 million. So we'll definitely take a look at this. This has been one of my best performing cryptocurrencies over the past several months. And also below here, you can see the biggest losers. So you can see several of the Bitcoin altcoins have just been getting hammered the past few days. Also, Ripple, that previously had a massive run up, is also on the biggest losers today because it's pulling back pretty hard. So let's go ahead and jump into some charts. So my first strategy for trading altcoins is what I call the accumulate and sell into hype strategy, where basically you find a good project. You find a cryptocurrency that has a good development team, that has a good, unique selling proposition. Again, like I mentioned earlier, 90% of the cryptocurrencies or more that are out there are either scams or they really have no value. They're just copycat coins, or they're something that I just don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. But Stratcoin or Stratis actually is a really good project that has been performing pretty well ever since it listed on Bittrex, and now it's also on Poloniex, which are 2 of the top altcoin trading exchanges, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. But basically, guys, my first strategy is you find a project, you find a cryptocurrency that you think has a good chance of being a winner over the long term, or at least gaining significant value over the next few months, and then you accumulate low. Okay, so I actually accumulated quite a bit of Stratis back here in October of 2016, and then what you want to do is you want to wait for the thing to wake up, right? So you'll see here several months later, it basically more than quadrupled in value, and what I look to do is sell into parabolic moves, meaning when price goes crazy, I like to take some profit. And I'm a big fan of scaling out of a trade. I'm not an all-in, all-out kind of trader, and maybe you are. Everybody has their own style of trading, but for me, I like to scale out because it removes some of that stress of having to be right? So one thing that you can see here is it had a little bit of a pop in November, and I think I took a little bit off the table back here, but I was really looking for a much larger move. And then you can see here in March, when the altcoin market really started to pick up, it broke all-time highs, and I started taking profit into these spikes. Now I'm still holding a pretty significant position in this coin, but I like to take profit into hype, so again, strategy number one is the accumulate and sell into what I call FOMO, or fear of missing out. That's why when, some of these cryptocurrencies can go up by hundreds or thousands of percentage points because of FOMO and because of new money coming into the cryptocurrency economy. So another example of this is Dashcoin, which we talked about in my last couple of videos, but you'll notice that this was in a channel for several months and then actually broke out and went up way too far, way too fast. And kind of my rule of thumb, guys, is anytime a cryptocurrency goes up over 100% in a short period of time, that's a red flag. That's a warning that there's too many buyers. And when everybody's bought in and there's no greater fool to buy higher than you, typically what happens is you get this V-top formula where whenever you have more than 3 breakouts, which again, I showed this pattern right around here in one of my last videos, you can see after it put in a lower high here, it's just been fading off and pulled back to retest that breakout level. So one of the biggest questions that I get is, well, Chris, how do you know where to accumulate? And cryptocurrencies are such a new market that a lot of times you are actually trading with incomplete information, meaning you don't have a lot of historical data to go off of. So what I like to look for on this accumulation strategy is I want to buy at pre-pump prices. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you can see here back in mid 2014, this is Ripple or XRP, and Ripple has consistently been around the top 5 cryptocurrencies. And you'll notice back here, it actually had a big pop in late 2014, and then again, it went way too high, way too fast, crashed back down, and then it was here through the pre-pump prices. So what I like to do is I like to say, well, once everybody bails, where is price going to hang out? And that's where I actually started to accumulate down here. And the same is true for Bitcoin. I'll actually show you how this can actually work with the big Bitcoin market as well. One thing, and those of you that have been watching my videos for a long time, you know that we were actually accumulating back here in 2015 when nobody wanted to buy Bitcoin at 200, right? It's funny. Everybody inherently knows buy low, sell high, but very few people actually do it. And the reason why, we didn't know this was going to be the low of Bitcoin's price, but this was pre-pump price, right? This was the China bubble of late 2013, and once everybody had bailed and basically given up on Bitcoin, just like Warren Buffett says, buy when people are scared and sell when people are greedy, right? So that's where we started to accumulate. And you can see the result of that is we've had a multi-year bull trend because of that. But going back to Ripple, and again, this is on the Poloniex exchange, XRP BTC, so this is priced against Bitcoin. But you'll notice through here, this is pre-pump prices, right? After everybody had bailed out, we started to accumulate. And again, I was just holding this, and you have to, whenever you're using this strategy, you have to be comfortable with it going to zero, right? You don't want to put 50 or 100% of your risk capital into one cryptocurrency. That's why I think diversification is key with this strategy, because some of them are just going to keep fading. But you can see here, like, we didn't know that this news hype piece was going to come out, but basically the other day we woke up and this thing was up. Whenever I checked the gainers list, I noticed XRP was right at the top of this. It was up 175%, and I went, oh, awesome. Okay, let me go check out where my coins are, and basically started to scale out. If we go down to an hour chart, I actually didn't catch the top here, but on the bounce, I closed about half of the position. And again, I'm still holding some XRP, some Ripple, And I'm okay with that. I took some profit off the table, and I don't know where this is going to go, but what I do know is Ripple has a history of popping and spiking on hype and then quickly fading off. So if we look at the daily chart, you can see, I mean, it went up really, really fast and then pulled back right to kind of retest that initial breakout level. And you can see on all of these prior spikes, there's a lot of sellers that sell into these spikes. So I'm usually quicker to get out on Ripple when it does something like this. And one thing that's really important is to look at the economics of a coin. So one coin that I did not use this accumulation strategy with is Steem. You know, I think Steemit, which is the social media platform that's trying to compete with Reddit, you know, I think it's a cool idea, but the economics of the cryptocurrency with the inflation rate and everything that comes along with it, for me, it just wasn't a good buy and hold and accumulate cryptocurrency. So you can see what happened. I mean, after the ICO, it's basically just been fading and fading, and it gets little pops here and there. But again, this is one that I have not used that accumulation strategy on. And then strategy number 2 for trading altcoins is riding the wave of breakouts. Now, just like the whole kind of Warren Buffett cliche saying, buy when people are scared and sell when they're greedy, that works really well with the accumulation strategy. Well, how do you know when a trend is going to keep going? The answer is you don't, you know, but my philosophy when it comes to trends is trends are your friend until they're not. Meaning you don't know how high or how far they're going to go. So I'll give you an example, and this was one of our best trades of early 2016, was when Ethereum really started to take off, and we had 3 breakout trades. Now, we didn't know that this was going to go up 15x in the course of just a month or so, but one thing that we do is we use Fibonacci extension tools to measure into the future, especially whenever you're looking at new all-time highs, right? Like, how do you find profit targets when a market is breaking out to all-time highs? It's actually pretty difficult to do. So what I like to do is just let the trend and the price action tell you how far it wants to go. And then, again, scale out into parabolic moves. So you can see through here, once price hits a resistance zone and it squeezes up into that level, and then you get a breakout, a lot of times that's a really good risk to reward area to buy. But if you buy 2 or 3 days late and it's already gone up 150%, then you're faced with the decision, well, is now too high? And that's why I think breakout trades are probably the best setup for newer traders, because you have that set risk to reward. So to give you an example, it's like what, you know, if you were going to buy here on this breakout, you could set your risk behind the prior low, and let me blow this up a little bit. And then you can run a Fibonacci extension, basically use Fibonacci tools to measure moves and see where it could potentially go into the future, and then set your risk to reward. And when it comes to risk to reward, I always like to look for an absolute minimum of a 2 to 1, meaning for every dollar that I'm risking, I want to see the potential to make at least 2. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, sometimes it way exceeds that, sometimes it actually fails and you lose money, right? But I think breakout trades are, again, the best trade for new traders because you're going with the trend, you have set risk, and that's much better than I think trying to randomly just short a market that's trending, because shorting in cryptocurrencies can be very profitable, but it can also be very, very expensive if you're on the wrong side of it. And then you have other cryptocurrencies that are good, just kind of long-term grinders where they maintain their value and they get random spikes, but that I don't really have a short-term expectation of. And Factom, FCT, is a really good example of that. And I actually, last year or the year before that, I did an interview with Paul Snow, one of the founders of Factom, and you'll notice that this thing has basically held its value, and that's because Factom's mission and what they're working on is a much longer term vision. You know, they're working with governments, and a lot of times slow governments like Honduras and China and stuff like that. So this is a coin that I don't expect to see a tremendous amount of volatility, and so that's why I think it's important to have really clear expectations of what you're trading, right? That's why you have to intimately know what these altcoins are, what their value proposition is, what their historical price action has been, what the economics and the fundamentals of the coin are. And one of the best things that I think new traders or cryptocurrency investors should do is just come here on CoinMarketCap and get to know. Start with the biggest coins, right? Just start with Bitcoin and go down the line, and then you can start to look at the big movers, right? Lately, there's been a bunch of volatility in the cryptocurrency markets, and over the past month, this has been one of my best trading months ever because of all the new money that's flowing into cryptocurrency. So I hope this video is helpful. Question of the day is, what is your favorite cryptocurrency trading strategy, or what is the coin that you've actually made the most amount of money on recently? Because I know a lot of you guys have actually been crushing it. And if you're new to this game or you just want some guidance, we're actually doing another live masterclass next week to show you some more advanced strategies in the altcoin market. And I'll link that up below. We also have a Bitcoin basics course for anybody that's just looking to get into this. And obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care, guys.